Jango Fett on the job.
What's up, guys? I'm Jango Fett, hunting down games, comics, TV shows, movies, and more. And today I'm doing a review of Dark Times Omnibus Volume 2. And this review contains no spoilers for Volume 2, but spoilers for Volume 1. So if you haven't read Volume 1, then I recommend you watch my review and read that volume as well. Then come back and watch this video. And I will put a link for my Volume 1 video in the description down below. And at the end of the video, as always, I will have a comic book cover slideshow of what's contained in the omnibus at the end of the review video. I will split the review into several sections, much like previous review videos. The sections are story, characters, tone, artwork, and lastly, my overall thoughts of this book and my score of this book out of 5. So let's start with the story. Taking place right after the events of Episode 3, Order 66 has taken place and left the galaxy in disarray more than ever, due to the Empire taking total control with the use of Force. The last few Jedi are scattered across the galaxy as the power of Darth Vader and the Emperor grows. It picks up where we left off with Darth Vader exiled and hated by his friends for revealing his identity as a Jedi. The Umali crew were lost without Jinner's aid. Also, Krook, who is trying to help his Padawans find a safe planet to live on. And Darth Vader, who just has an obsession with finding Jedi and just murdering them. Each story is unique and very amazing to see how well done they are. Since it seems that the series focuses on 4 groups, which may sound like the series' downfall, but it's actually its strength. It's cohesive through each story told and filled with amazing action and suspenseful scenes that really work. I did like how the series was connected and made references to the series Darth Vader and the Ghost Prison, where the Empire had a traitor named General Gentis who attempted a coup that ended up killing thousands in Coruscant, but ended up failing in his coup. That was cool to mention that. One of the few Darth Vader series I really enjoyed. Now onto the characters. Darth Vader seems to be more of the focus in this volume, and is more developed in this volume than in Volume 1. He's questioning whether he will stay hidden or stand up for the weak, oppressed by the Empire. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but the fact that he's joined by a relatively terrible love interest in Ember, who is poorly developed and someone you could care less about. Also, Momo and the Umali crew were shown less, however, but they are joined with a badass Jedi named Sadat who helps them. But they didn't focus on Momo at all, which is a real shame because he went through a lot in Volume 1. Getting through a lot of pain by losing his family and battling treasure hunters. Instead, they showed less of him and was severely underplayed in Volume 2 in my opinion. Momo really took a backseat in this volume. Just another major weakness in this volume. Darth Vader is menacing as always, just badass. But another weakness is that another character that is included with Darth Vader, an assassin named Falco Song, who is an absolute idiot. He challenges Vader despite knowing he's an imposing Dark Lord, and every time he loses. But he clearly doesn't understand through his dumb head that he will lose. He's just mindlessly stupid, and the worst character in the series by far, even worse than Ember. Krook and his Padawans are actually the best surprise group in this series. They're only involved in 1 chapter, but are really well developed, and you really feel for them. There is also a surprise character at the end chapter, and I won't reveal who he is, but I will just say he's awesome. Next section is tone. Compared to Volume 1, which is depressing most of the time, and I felt like the tone in Volume 1 far exceeds Volume 2. Volume 2 had a little less of the depressing atmosphere. It started off strong in Krook's chapter, but ended up honky-dory with them. Volume 2 was depressing at times, but did have more action and violence, and more of a serious yet less serious tone at the same time. And if you can't really tell by now, it's really hard for me to describe the tone. It tries to be more of a serious, yet happy towards the end tone. Next, let's talk about the artwork. For this entire volume, except Krook's chapter, Douglas Wheatley does the artwork. And if you couldn't tell from my last video, Omnibus Volume 1, I loved Wheatley's artwork. From his characters, to the lightsaber fights, to the overall lush environments, Wheatley is a master at his craft, bringing everything to life. For Krook's chapter, Fire Carrier, the artwork is done by Gabriel Guzman, and I really enjoyed his artwork as well. It's not nearly as great as Douglas Wheatley's, but whose is? From drawing Krook to the Padawans, Guzman really does his job well. Now on to my overall thoughts of the conclusion of the Dark Times series, and my rating for this omnibus. Now there were 4 chapters in this omnibus: Blue Harvest, Out of the Wilderness, Fire Carrier, and A Spark Remains. I felt Blue Harvest and Out of the Wilderness were decent, but got the job done. I felt like the last 2 stories, Fire Carrier and A Spark Remains, really stood out in my opinion. The characters were really well done. Darth Vader, Krook, and Dash Jr. really stood out. Some of the other major characters like Momo really were underplayed, and a few additional minor characters were shoehorned into the series and didn't really mean much. And the artwork is done exceptionally by Gabriel Guzman and Douglas Wheatley. And now to decide on the rating. I thought it was a little lower than Volume 1, and it's going to be a weird decibel rating, but I have to give it a 4.25 out of 5. I really couldn't give it lower than a 4. I do think this omnibus is a terrific conclusion to the Dark Times series, and I highly recommend both Volumes 1 and 2 to anyone who wants to get into Star Wars comics. I really do wish this series was still continuing on, but due to Marvel taking over the rights for Star Wars comics instead of Dark Horse, I understand why. So that's my review for Dark Times Omnibus Volume 2, and as always, I like to end this comic book review with a comic book cover slideshow of what's contained in this omnibus. And please don't forget to like and comment this video. Please subscribe to my channel for more comic reviews, and follow me on Twitter. The link will be in the description. And please enjoy the slideshow.